Hey everyone, today we're going to be making a stir-fried dish called pork and garlic sauce from the Sichuan region of China. This is just a great way to use up a lot of vegetables in a stir-fry. It's actually a pretty authentic dish here. So I'm using some of the scallions that I got from my bunch, just cut into roughly 1.5-inch pieces. And these are the garlic scapes from this week. It's the tender shoot out of the top of a garlic. So it'll taste mildly like garlic, but the whole thing is edible once stir-fried. So just cut that into about the same size pieces and add it to your bowl. We're just going to get all of our vegetables prepared, and then we'll move into the meat, and then the sauce, and then the final stir-fry. This dish also calls for carrots. So I like to take the tops and the bottoms off and save them for stock, and then kind of trim the edges off to make like a rough square, and then slice those squares into what is called batons, which is kind of like a thick carrot stick. But you want everything to be about the same size. So these are going to be about the same size as the garlic scapes and about the same size as the scallions. We're going to cut up some ginger and garlic to go into our stir fry while we're cutting vegetables. So I just kind of roughly cut off the outside of the ginger because I like to save it for stock. And then use about 1-inch nub of ginger, and we'll just mince it up and put it in a little side cup. Once that's ready, I'm going to be actually using some green garlic that I had left over from my last week's CSA in place of garlic bulbs. So I'm just going to use about 4 inches of it and quarter it, and then slice those quarters into about the same size pieces as my ginger. And that's going to be one of the base flavors for our stir fry. For the pork, I just have a tenderloin. I'm going to trim off this little bit of silver skin, which is going to be chewy and inedible. And then I'm going to take my pork, trim off that little part right there, and I'm going to basically slice it into thirds the long way, and then slice those against the grain, so they'll end up being pieces about the same size as our scallions, our carrots, and our garlic scapes. Put them in a bowl, and for our marinade, I have some oil, some white pepper, some soy sauce, a little bit of shaoxing cooking wine, which you can replace with sherry wine, cornstarch, sprinkled all over, and about 1/4 cup of water is added to pork stir-fry dishes. And you basically want to mix it all together really well with your hands, and the pork will actually start to absorb the water. As you can see, just kind of rough mixing it with my hand, and there's almost no water left in the bowl. So that'll make your stir fry really nice and juicy. So we'll set that aside and let it marinate. So the sauce is going to be really easy to come together. We're basically going to do 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, about 2 tablespoons of sugar. The measurements don't have to be super exact for this kind of sauce. 1 tablespoon of shaoxing cooking wine, 1 cup of water, and then about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And we're going to stir that all together so the cornstarch is all combined, so that when we stir fry the dish, it'll thicken. I just wanted to show you guys how I set up my wok outside. You can definitely do this in a pan inside. It might just take a little bit longer, and you'll have to do it in bigger batches, but I have this available to me, so I like to use it. We're going to start with a good amount of oil, and we're going to be par cooking our pork that's been marinating. This will basically seal in all of the juices. So once it's barely cooked, you don't need to get much color on it or anything. We'll put it in a little bowl, set it aside, and then go clean out your wok. I like to just scrub it with a steel scrubby. And then we'll start with a clean wok once again for the rest of the dish. So this part needs about 2 tablespoons of oil, and once it gets kind of shimmery and hot, we're going to add about a tablespoon of chili bean paste, which is a necessary component for this dish. It's one of the main flavors. So you're going to just kind of stir it into the hot oil, and it'll start flavoring and tinting the oil red. Probably takes about 10 seconds. Then we're going to add in our ginger and our garlic that we sliced up and get that kind of sweating in the oil. Next step is going to be our carrots that we sliced up. You always want to start with the hardest vegetable first. We're basically just going to move that around, stir fry it, get it all coated with the chili bean paste and oil. We'll cook it for about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to go ahead and add our pork back in. Just combine that all together. Probably stir fry this for about another minute or so. Then I'm going to add in all my scallion and garlic scape. And we're going to cook that down for, say, another minute or so. Just make sure nothing's sticking to your wok. And keep it moving so all the heat gets evenly distributed. And lastly, I threw in some dried chilies for some aroma, and we're going to pour in our sauce. And we're going to essentially bring it to a boil, and all that sauce is going to thicken and coat everything really well. I'd say it stir fries for about another 2 minutes or so until everything is well combined and the sauce is nice and thick. Should look like that. Lightly coated, but not too thick. If your sauce is a little bit too thin, you can sprinkle in a little more cornstarch. Or if it's too thick, you can add a little more water. And that's it for your stir fry. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy this video.